Hello friends, today we will discuss about the neck. Neck is defined as the cylindrical region connecting the head with the trunk, as you can see here, and when you view the neck from the lateral side, it appears roughly quadrilateral. You can see there it has four borders. The anterior border is formed by the anterior median line of the neck. Superior border is formed by the lower border of mandible and line joining angle of mandible to mastoid process, then line from mastoid process to external occipital protuberance, posterior border from the posterior median line and inferior border by the clavicle acromion and line joining the spine of scapula to C7 vertebrae. And the lateral side of the neck is divided by sternocleidomastoid diagonally into two triangles, anterior and posterior, that you can see here. So, neck consists of the structures which run to and fro between the head and trunk. It also houses the different glands and muscular spaces. And as we are discussing anterior triangle here, when you view the neck from the anterior side, you can see this is the anterior triangle. Broadly it is a big triangle, but for descriptive purposes it is divided into two by an anterior median line. So, there are right and left anterior triangles, you can see here. So, anterior triangle lies between the two sternocleidomastoid muscles, and when you view from the lateral side, you will see skin, superficial fascia and platysma muscle, and here you can see the muscular boundaries of the anterior triangle. Anterior border is by the anterior median line, posterior border is by the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid, above by the lower border of the mandible, and line joining angle of mandible to mastoid, mastoid to external occipital protuberance. And here you can see how the sternocleidomastoid muscle is dividing the lateral side of the neck into two triangles, anterior and posterior. You can see that is the platysma muscle on the right side. So, here you can have the bony and muscular boundaries of a broader anterior triangle. As I told you, anterior triangle is only one, but it is divided into right and left by the anterior median line. You can see it lies between the two sternocleidomastoid on either side, anterior border of sternocleidomastoid above the lower border of the mandible, and by the anterior median line it is divided into right and left anterior triangles. Again, the anterior triangle is subdivided into many triangles. You can see the anterior border, posterior border and superior border here. These are the boundaries of the anterior triangle. Anteriorly anterior median line, posteriorly anterior border of sternocleidomastoid, superiorly by the lower border of the mandible and line joining angle of mandible to mastoid process. That is, these are the boundaries of anterior triangle. And again, you can see in the lateral view how it is there, and it is subdivided into many other triangles by the suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles, and these triangles are named depending upon their location or depending upon the contents they have. So, it is just an arbitrary division of the anterior triangle. Many structures are common to all the subdivisions. So, for surgical exploration, these triangles and their boundaries are very important. You can see that is a digastric triangle, this is carotid triangle, and here you can see muscular triangle. So, the anterior triangle in total has 7 triangles, 3.5 triangles on one side, that is digastric, carotid, muscular, and that is half of submental triangle. Submental triangle is a median triangle and it is unpaired, whereas digastric, carotid and muscular are paired triangles. They are present on both the sides, one on each side, that you can see there. You can see the boundaries of digastric triangle there, that is the digastric muscle having two bellies. Di means two, gastra means belly, two bellies. Muscle with two bellies is called as digastric. You can see anterior and posterior belly. Above you can see the lower border of the mandible and line joining the angle of mandible to mastoid process. So, these are the boundaries of digastric triangle, also called as submandibular triangle. It is named on the location. This is carotid triangle that you can see. Antero-inferiorly you are seeing the superior belly of the omohyoid, antero-superiorly posterior belly of digastric, posteriorly by the anterior border of sternocleidomastoid muscle, that is digastric. Here you can see this is carotid. It is named carotid because it contains carotid structures, and this is muscular triangle. Anteriorly by the anteromedian line of the neck, postero-superiorly superior belly of omohyoid, postero-inferiorly anterior border of sternocleidomastoid. It is named muscular because of its contents. It contains strap muscles. In the floor, no other significant structure is there. That's why it is called as muscular. Whereas when you see the anterior triangle here in the median plane, you can see submental triangle. I already told you submental triangle is a median triangle and unpaired triangle. It belongs to both the sides. It is unpaired, whereas the remaining three triangles are paired. You can see the boundaries. Apex is formed by symphysis menti, base by the body of the hyoid. On either side you will see anterior belly of digastric. And when you see the roof of the anterior triangle, what you see, skin and superficial fascia you will see, containing the anterior jugular veins, tributaries of the external jugular vein, transverse cervical nerve, which is a cutaneous nerve, branch of cervical plexus. Other branch of the cervical plexus you have already seen in the posterior triangle. You can go through the video of the posterior triangle in this channel, where you will see all the branches coming from the cervical plexus. The only branch coming here is transverse cervical nerve. As you can see here, when you remove the skin and fat in the superficial fascia, you will see numerous venous tributaries, mainly anterior jugular vein, the tributaries of common facial vein, tributaries of the external jugular vein. You can see that is anterior jugular vein. It runs in the midline of the neck. That is sternocleidomastoid muscle, and in the anterior part of sternocleidomastoid muscle you will see common facial vein and tributaries of external jugular vein. You can see here, if you zoom out here, now if you zoom you can see that is the transverse cervical nerve, and this is the communicating branch of the common facial vein. And as you go here, you will make out that nerve, that is transverse cervical nerve, branch coming from cervical plexus, supplying the skin of the anterior triangle of the neck. It lies in front of the anterior border of sternocleidomastoid. It comes from the roof of the posterior triangle. There you can see along with the external jugular vein. And here you can make out the boundaries of muscular triangle, anteriorly by the anteromedian line of neck, antero-superiorly superior belly of omohyoid, antero-inferiorly anterior border of sternocleidomastoid, that is carotid triangle, digastric, and this is submental. So you can see 3.5 triangles on one side. So when you see the triangles, broadly this anterior triangle contains 7 triangles. And I told you, for descriptive purposes we divide it into 2 sides, right and left, for easy discussion purpose, and that is the superior belly of omohyoid. Inferior belly of omohyoid is seen in the posterior triangle, and it divides the posterior triangle into occipital and supraclavicular. You can see that superior belly of omohyoid. Omohyoid come from the scapula. Omo means shoulder. So from shoulder to hyoid, this muscle is called as omohyoid. It has 2 bellies. You can see there the extent of omohyoid, superior belly and inferior belly. Superior belly is forming the boundaries of the subdivisions of anterior triangle. Inferior belly is in the posterior triangle, that is the sternohyoid muscle, forming the floor of the muscular triangle. Sternohyoid, it comes from the posterior surface of the body of the manubrium above sternothyroid muscle. Sternohyoid is superficial and converging. It inserts into body of the hyoid, whereas sternothyroid is deep and diverging. You can remember D and D for sternothyroid. So hyoid is above, thyroid is below. You can see there. And when you take out this, the muscular contents of the muscular triangle, you can explore the thyroid gland. So muscular triangle as itself doesn't have any significant structure, but beneath it you can explore the thyroid gland. That is sternothyroid muscle coming from the portions of the body of the manubrium sterni below sternohyoid. It is diverging. It goes and inserts into the lamina of the thyroid cartilage below the oblique line on the external surface of thyroid cartilage. That's about the muscular triangle. You have seen there. Boundaries, roof and floor. Contents mainly anterojugular vein and superior thyroid vessel supplying thyroid gland and inferior thyroid veins. And coming to submental triangle, this is submental triangle. Already told you, median and unpaired triangle. You can see on either side anterior belly of digastric. Base is formed by the body of the hyoid bone. Apex is formed by the symphysis menti. And you can see the mylohyoid muscle coming from the mylohyoid and the mandible is forming a median raphe there. Mylohyoid muscle is also called as oral diaphragm. Inserts into the hyoid bone there, that is the hyoid bone. So in anatomical position, the mylohyoid forms the roof of the submental triangle, or if you want to describe it in the supine position, it forms the floor of the submental triangle. So that is how you describe. If you want to describe in anatomical position, mylohyoid forms the roof, skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia form the floor, and contents of submental triangle are submental lymph nodes and anterojugular veins that you have seen already. Now coming to the submandibular triangle or digastric triangle, you can see there the submental veins and vessels, submental vessels coming from the facial artery just behind the submandibular gland run to the submental triangle, and you can see here we can make out the outline of the digastric triangle there. You can see mylohyoid is a part of both submental and digastric triangle. As you can notice here, you will see numerous vessels there. This is the carotid triangle. You can see superior belly of omohyoid, above posterior belly of digastric, and behind the anterior border of sternocleidomastoid muscle, that you will see. And when you see the roof of the carotid triangle, it is formed by the skin, superficial fascia containing transversocervical nerve, tributaries of external jugular vein. You can see there, skin, superficial fascia, transversocervical nerve, tributaries of external jugular vein containing the platysma. Platysma is a facial muscle, subcutaneous muscle, and is supported by cervical branch of facial nerve. It takes origin from the pectoral fascia and deltoid fascia, runs upwards and forwards towards the lower border of the mandible. There you can see, if you take out that platysma, then you will see the other structures there. So in the roof you will see skin, superficial fascia containing tributaries of external jugular vein, transcervical nerve, platysma, and these are the boundaries. Antero-inferiorly superior belly of omohyoid, antero-superiorly posterior belly of digastric with stylohyoid muscle, and posteriorly anterior border of sternocleidomastoid muscle. And if you take out this sternocleidomastoid muscle here, you will see carotid sheath containing the important structures, that is common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and vagus nerve between them. You can see the internal jugular vein is anterolateral, common carotid artery is posteromedial. Between them you will see the vagus nerve. So the carotid triangle contains these important structure. Carotid means to throttle. So if you throttle here, it produces unconsciousness in the human beings. That's why it is called as carotid triangle, because When you throttle here, if you occlude common carotid artery and internal jugular vein, produces the unconsciousness. This is internal jugular vein, common carotid artery and vagus nerve between them. These are surrounded by the carotid sheath, and in the anterior wall of carotid sheath you will see a loop of the nerve called as ansa cervicalis. So you have seen the boundaries of the carotid triangle, the contents, and you have also seen the roof, skin, superficial fascia, transcervical nerve, tributaries of external jugular vein, platysma, and when you take out the roof, you will see the contents covered by carotid sheath. Carotid sheath has three contents: common carotid artery, which we have taken out. Now we are taking out the internal jugular vein. Internal jugular vein is a continuation of the sigmoid sinus, and you can see the vagus nerve here. This is the vagus nerve, and on the more deeper plane you will see cervical sympathetic chain. This is vagus nerve, thick and present between the artery and the vein. And as you go to the floor of the carotid triangle is formed by the three important muscles. There again, that is thyrohyoid muscle. It is an infrahyoid muscle coming from thyroid cartilage to hyoid bone. As you can see, it is a continuation of sternothyroid muscle. That is the hyoglossus muscle of the tongue coming from hyoid bone to tongue, and this is mylohyoid, which is forming the floor of the digastric triangle. That is not a content of carotid, we are not discussing here. And as you go there, prevertebral muscles, remember three muscles are here important: thyrohyoid, hyoglossus, and middle and inferior constrictor. You can see that is hyoglossus, thyrohyoid, and this one is inferior constrictor, and here you will see the middle constrictor muscle. So four muscles form the floor of the carotid triangle.